And we're back. Commission comments. Commissioner Talarico.
Yes, Madam Mayor. I have two items. First one is good news. I want to congratulate Joseph Kavanaugh on obtaining the title of Designation Certified Municipal Clerk. The bad news. We lost another child in a drowning accident. I've spoken about this before and I'll keep speaking about it. There is no reason at all for that to happen. I'm not talking about negligence of anybody. I'm talking about teaching your children, before they can walk almost, how to swim. I did it with all my kids up north. In the wintertime we swam. YMCA, they learn how to swim. My grandchildren all know how to swim. And hope to God, if they ever have a situation where they fall in a canal or something, they'll have enough wherewithal, even at the age of 3 and 2 years old, they can swim. So I know Mike, I don't know how that program's going. Going okay?
Yes.
We have free swimming lessons
Yes.
at Calypso Cove. I'm sure they're not doing them right now, but
Not
September, right?
They'll be rolling out when the weather gets better.
When the weather gets better, contact the Calypso Cove. Free lessons. Teach your kids how to swim. Your grandkids how to swim. If you can't get there, hire somebody. They have swim teachers who come to your house if you have a pool and teach them how to swim. And I hate hearing about this. You know, we lead the nation in drowning deaths of children. Florida does. And it's just a statistic I wish we would be last. So keep up the good work, Mike, and hopefully we'll get some more people involved and we won't see this happening so much. Nothing further.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Donahue.
Congratulations, Joseph.
Thank you.
A few weeks ago at the CRA meeting, we were talking about the building and developing the downtown area, and moving forward into our future, which is what we're going to do as a community, building a community that works together. And one of the questions was about our multicultural diversity, and I found it very interesting that a lot of different cities have multicultural clubs or boards. We're looking at building a community. We have a volunteer program to get people involved. We have a lot of Margate pride. You look at what happens in the city when people come in for sports or through school or through contests, and we do have a city to be proud of. And in doing that, I would like to put forth that we consider or look at creating a multicultural board or committee so that we can bring more people into participating with the city, be inclusive, we the people, the melting pot that we are, so that we can actually work all together to move our city forward and to build it and to have it the way we want, with inclusion, with everybody involved, and be proactive about it for a healthier and prosperous future. We also have the volunteer program, and it's up and running. If you want to get in touch with that, it's volunteer@margatefl.com. And yes, participate in your city. You're part of it.
Thank you. Commissioner Talarico, you got your light on?
Yes, Brian, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think it's something that we should be doing. I don't know how to go about doing it.
Well, how about if we take a consensus of the commission and direct staff into finding out how other cities do it and how they started up and everything else? Do we have a consensus of the commission?
Yes.
Assistant City Manager, can you have the staff look into this and bring it back to us as to how they start and how they go about it?
We'll bring our report back to you. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Rosano.
Good afternoon, good evening. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here tonight. Special thanks to the fire department. You guys do a hell of a job. I'd say hi to my aunt and uncle from Canada. Thanks for coming down, bringing that weather with you. Enjoying it. That's right, the baseball kicks off Little Margate Little League at February 1st. They do their jamboree, which is Saturday. If you guys can make it there, it'd be great. And that's about it.
Vice Mayor Simone.
Yes, good evening. Ben, I just want to thank you for the great outstanding job he did in your PowerPoint presentation at the Chamber of Commerce breakfast. It was very well received by the members. Our city really looked good. It was a thorough presentation, and you showed that we were moving positive in many, many directions. If you weren't at the Chamber breakfast, he gave an update on the legislative and development update, as well as projects that we've completed, projects that are proposed, and projects that are underway. And it really showcased our city and all the good things that we are doing. So Ben, thanks again for that great presentation. I was approached by a resident that was concerned after reading an article in the paper on the e-cigarettes and the sale to minors. So I did some research on that, and I don't see the resident here this evening, but I want to give an update on that the Senate Bill 224 is addressing selling e-cigarettes to minors. It was already filed on 9/30/13, and it's currently on the agenda, the 2/6/14 agenda at the Appropriations Subcommittee and Criminal and Civil Justice Board. So we will continue to follow that. And I believe that's all. Thank you.
Lee, if I may say something real quick?
There's three, yes, go ahead.
I received a phone call last week about a gentleman who lived off of Winfield Boulevard. He was given not a citation, but a warning because he had an American flag hanging in his window. So I immediately went to his house and I discussed it with him. Not the HOA, but the maintenance company of the building was saying to him that he cannot have the American flag in his window. He said it's against Margate's rules. And then came down, I talked to Jean, I wrote a letter to Jerry, and I want to say you guys, thank you very much for your follow-up. And also, there was an officer, Trapberger, I think her name was. She contacted him very quickly and said there was no Margate code about having a flag in your window. What happened was I think they tried to threaten him from what I was seeing, and they tried to use us as the bad guys. So I just want to say thank you to Jean, Jerry, the officers that were involved, and everybody for taking care of them. And him, thank you.
Commissioner Tallarico.
Yes, in regards to what Ms. Vice Mayor said about the e-cigarettes, can we send a letter off in support of that or something of that nature to our representatives? Instead of waiting just to watch it, let's support them.
Do we have a consensus to do that? You want to send a letter off in support? Joseph, can you draft a letter for us to send off in support of the bill?
Yes, ma'am. Send it to our representatives.
And also add that if they would just, enforce the law that you don't sell tobacco and nicotine products to children under 18, you would not have this problem. I have a difference of opinion about these cigarettes, but I'll do what the commission wishes on this. Are you guys done? Okay. She's not done.
Congratulations, Joseph, and to the fire department as well.
One more thing. We received a letter from, I forgot the gentleman's name, the city of Sunrise. Something, Mike Ryan. Did you all receive that letter? Did I interpret that letter correctly? They're saying you can have a gun range in your backyard?
According to the state laws, yes. And according to the state law, cities cannot regulate the use of guns in the cities. Otherwise, it's a fine for those people.
Possible removal.
Correct.
So technically, I interpret that letter as...
There's probably some sorts of guidelines to it, but it does say urban backyard gun range.
And front yard.
And, well, yeah, I made that perfectly clear. And front yard. Again, it's one of those issues that Sunrise brings up that they can't do anything about, but they just want to make other cities aware of it, that it could be going on, but there is nothing that this city can do about it because of the state law.
Okay.
State law says if you want to do something about it, they'll fine you. Like $5,000 or something.
We want to do something.
If we want to do something about it. Each one of us, if you vote yes, they will fine each one of us $5,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And we're back to Commissioner Tallarico.
Yes, it's a question for the city attorney.
Yes.
You're telling me obviously that they can do this in the city of Margate for these gun ranges. So I can go into my backyard and set up a little thing, or there are certain criteria you have to meet to have a gun?
You know, once again, if we're talking about using your backyard for target practice of your own, City of Margate cannot regulate that. If we're talking about putting a gun range open to other than, you know, then we can regulate it and prohibit a commercial use.
Don't we do anything like about the health, safety, and welfare of our citizens? I mean, you can't, in other words, you discharge a gun into the air,
No, you can.
but I was sure it was hard.
No.
If it falls back down in your own yard.
Yes, yeah, no.
No. That's a violation. Unfortunately, Margate has an ordinance, or did have an ordinance, that said discharging a gun in the city was against the law because of what the legislature did. We cannot prosecute that, but there are other state laws that can be prosecuted. It would be a violation of the law to do it if it were to endanger another person. And shooting in an urban area like this would be, and we'd have to take that to the state attorney. But that's the type of situation where laws in rural areas and laws in urban areas don't always, they just aren't the same, and they don't have the same effect. But unfortunately, the Florida legislature has said, we're going to make all of the laws uniform, and on top of it, if the Commission of the City of Margate wishes to pass a law that relates only to Margate, they can be prosecuted. The Commission can be. So, which I think is, you know, not very smart, but
They'll be bringing bales of hay over to my house next week. I'm sorry, gun world, you're out of business.
It is it may, that's the law of Florida, and unfortunately, like I said, the law is the same here as it is in, Dixie County and Levy County, and it just makes no difference. So if you have a gun range in your backyard in, unincorporated Dixie County, it's the same law that you have when you live in a 100 by 100 plot, in the city of Margate.
It said front yard or backyard, correct? And any kind of gun. It didn't even specify what kind of it. It said any kind of gun.
Quite frankly, once again, I without doing some further research, I couldn't tell you if the state has laws that say what kind of gun range or what you can utilize your front yard, your backyard. I'd have to come back to the commission to do that. But all I can tell you is, in general, those laws have been taken away from cities, from counties, and only the state of Florida can uniformly, by general law, regulate how guns are discharged and regulated, whether it's rural, whether it's urban, whether it's city, whether it's the country, whether it's the Panhandle, or whether it's South Florida.
And Commissioner, I do believe
Be careful out there.
I believe it's for your own personal target shootings, and I believe that Mayor Ryan used a word that probably shouldn't have used when he said gun range. I think it's more the law is that you as a private citizen on your private property can shoot your gun at a target. If you want to start charging people, well, then you got a whole different business license going on and everything else like that. But again, it's not anything we can technically do about, just duck. Let me know.
Once again, if you can prove under the state law that you're endangering someone, there is state law that can be enforced. But again, the burden would be on your neighbors or on the state to show that you would be prohibited. Without that showing, the city could not, and prosecuting under state law, the city could not do anything to prevent it.
If someone gets hurt or killed, then they'll do something.
So, Gene, real quick, if my neighbor's shooting his gun at a target in his backyard, and I call the police, they can't do nothing to him?
Oh, they can. They can enforce state law that, proves that if it isn't, and I think, once again, it's certainly going to be much more likely that they're going to be in violation of the state law here than it would be in a rural area. But again, it would be the burden, of course, on the police to prove the endangerment that it's unsafe. Whereas when the municipality had an ordinance that simply said you cannot discharge a firearm in Margate, there was no proof. It was simply you did it, and it was a violation, and they could be arrested.
Wow.
Yeah, if they've got their target aimed at your house,
In fact,
then you could prove that it could be an endangerment to your family. If they have it aimed towards the canal, I would say that you wouldn't be able to prove there was an endangerment to your family. But there's going to be court cases. There'll be court cases before it's all
and
done.
for instance, I know I prosecuted back in the 80s an individual who, quite frankly, I was a bit empathetic. This fellow was so frustrated with the computer, he took it out, put it on his driveway, shot it. Yes, simply put it in motion. And while many of the time I wanted to shoot my computer, I felt bad. And we charged him with discharging a firearm within the city limits. And once again, if there was no one around and it was on his property, that would not have been a crime today.
Okay, my turn? Okay. We're getting hay delivered next week. That's okay. The Margate School, I think, is still taking applications, the community school, to possibly have classes in February. If you really want to learn about the city of Margate and the different departments and all the things they do and fact from fiction and all that, I would highly suggest that you take those classes. From what I hear, and we've got 3 commissioners that have taken the classes. They wouldn't let commissioners take the classes, but they got in before they got elected and appointed. But it is a really good 8 weeks, I think, isn't it? 8 weeks of your life to learn things about the city that you never even knew. They go to the water plant, they talk about D's, and you know what D's is, and then you'll understand the water book and public works and everything. It's a really great class, so if you have the time, I think it meets once a week, and the city commission buys your dinner, so you get a free dinner out of it. But you can really learn some things about the city that you didn't know. So I strongly would say get some applications in there so we can actually have it this year again. Other than that, let's go. I'm sorry. City attorney, anything? Assistant city manager. City clerk. Oh, by the way, congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor. No, I didn't have a-
Okay. Public discussion.
Rick Riccardi, 4829 South Hemingway Circle, Margate, and President of the Chamber of Commerce. Wanted to just, 2 things. The most exciting thing that's happened that I saw recently is that the STEM program, STEM, that's the science, technology, engineering and math. Yeah, we got that $11.6 million grant for our grammar schools, which to me is amazing. That we already have our middle schools involved in this. I think that the community can really be excited about having such a wonderful situation in our grammar schools. I mean, there's now a coordinator. She's been hired. They actually had an open house tonight. So I suggested that the person in charge of that come here and talk about it, just so everybody's familiar with this thing. I mean, for our city to have this is phenomenal. And the other thing is in regard to what you were talking about, Commissioner Donahue, the Chamber of Commerce is going to have a Spanish-speaking group we're going to set up, because we know there's intimidation with people showing up and not having the language down and all that stuff. And there's a lot of businesses that speak Spanish and not too sure. So we're going to start that part of the chamber as soon as possible. So, thanks.
Mr. Curry, they're scheduled on the, I believe, February 5th agenda from Liberty Elementary, the STEM program, to come out and speak to everybody about it.
Oh, okay, great. Very good. Well, the chamber has a signage general meeting on February 7th at the chamber to talk about signs in general, and we're going to have a restaurant on February 28th about signage. So hopefully by the time we have your meeting, we'll have a lot of input for you. So.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. First, I want to say that your energy on the dais is magnificent this evening. It's really cool to see all this positive energy coming off the dais. Really nice. Frank, good news is I think thanks to our police department and fire department, that baby's alive. The word is that police got on the scene, started CPR. When the baby got on the ambulance, the fire department kept it going. They did CPR for about an hour. And it looks as though the baby's in critical condition at Plantation General Hospital. Addressing you commissioners on a certain issue, which involves my home and the home of some of my neighbors. I'm not sure that you're aware that the water department, the wastewater department, is putting up a north wall and a south wall. They're both concrete walls that stand about 6 foot high. We all attended, or the city, Reddy Shidapoo, head engineer for D's, did a marvelous job at the workshop the other night giving us the details, but a lot of us still have questions. More importantly, I would really like you all to come out to the property to see how this wall, the impact this wall is going to have on the quality of life of these homes. We have a lot of, from what we know at this point in time, there are going to be a lot of trees that are going to be removed. We're told that the roots are going into the water mains. We don't know, we haven't been issued any proof of that, but essentially what the water department's going to do is they're going to take the city land back, which is theirs, it's owned by the city. We've been told that it's for a couple of purposes, one of which might be security, which I don't think a 6 foot cement wall is going to stop any terrorists from attacking a wastewater plant if they want to. There's been the issues of they want all the easement and the water pipes on their side. But I implore you to come out and see and visit these homes firsthand to see that this wall is going to give them, it's going to take land that they've enjoyed. It's been city property over the years. The city's always owned it. But for 45 years, they've enjoyed this property. And the wall is going to restrict all that back to about 10 feet. So these houses will be looking at a brick, solid concrete wall, 10 to 15 feet out their backyard. Some of them are losing 50 feet, 75 feet. Not that they use this land for recreational purposes, but they planted on it, it's beautiful. We've got an incredible habitat back there of birds, and as many of you know, Margate is known, or used to be known, as a bird watching place to watch birds. A lot of you still enjoy it probably. But if you would please, and I might not be the only one talking tonight, but if you would consider coming out and visiting the homes personally, I think it would be really important for you to stand there and see, and stand with this homeowner and see exactly what's going to happen to them. We don't really feel as though after 45 years that a wall would be necessary, and if it were another wall, if it were a concrete wall had to be put up, then maybe the city can concede at least a little bit of the property. The homeowners would probably be willing to take care of it, or talk about a different style fence, not just a concrete wall. As you know, concrete walls don't breathe, they don't let any air through. And again, by taking the trees with no plan to replace them, we are going to lose a lot of habitat. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Commissioner Talarico.
Mr. Manager, the child did pass away, am I correct? No.
I'm watching the fire chief is shaking his head.
Yeah, I must have, whatever the information I got must not have been as up to date.
Okay, well, that's.
Chief?
I hadn't seen that in writing from anybody, but the,
Thank you.
Chief, you want to
Make sure.
give us a little update?
Don't want to go into too much detail, obviously, but the child was transported to Northwest Medical. They worked the child for an hour. For lack of a better term, felt like the child had passed, but the child spontaneously gained a pulse, and so they transported the child to Plantation. And so the last word I heard, which was as of probably an hour ago, that the child was still alive.
Thank you.
We'll keep them on our prayers.
My name is George Alex. I live on 9th Locust 9th Street in Margate here. I'm the president of Paradise Gardens 1. And the same thing that Mitch just spoke about. I would like to invite the people, by the way, I forgot all the flattery in the beginning. That's not my style. I'd like to invite all you people to come up and walk the property line with us and see, you know, before you make a decision on taking away a lifestyle that the people have been used to, walk the property line and see what the benefits are. I'm sure there are alternatives that can be worked out. And like I'm in the office every Saturday from 10 to 12. And you all know where that is, so I've seen you off the club many, many times. And in fact, you rode out there on a bicycle last time, but I would appreciate if you go just walk the property line, consider our side. You know, that's all I'm asking. Just consider it, take a look at it for real, and you know, maybe we can call it some kind of a compromise. And as far as terrorist attacks on the water department, I won't let anybody else come by your office. You know, thank you. You have a good night.
They can get in from the water side. Commissioner Zahn.
Brady, if I may ask you a question, the wall is for what reason?
Brady Chitable, Director of Police. Commissioner, the wall is the next phase of the security improvements we've been doing for the water and the wastewater plant to secure our infrastructure. This program started about 6 or 7 years back. If you remember, we first did the water plant. Let me actually go back a couple more years back. After 9/11, the federal government passed the Homeland Security Act, which required all the utilities to secure the infrastructure. As part of that, we did our vulnerability assessment, and one of the recommendations from the assessment was to put up a perimeter wall on the water and the wastewater plants. And because of the budgeting reasons, we phased the project out. So because the water plant is more critical, we completed that in approximately 2 years. And then we've been phasing the rest of the work depending on the budget. And this year, we have budget to complete the wall on the north side and the south side of the wastewater plant. The main reason why we're proposing the wall on the north side in the place where we're proposing is because of the two big lines that we have that we want to protect, which is a 30-inch force main which brings in sewage from the entire city into the plant, and also a 30-inch water main that takes water from the plant out to the city. So these two are very critical infrastructure pipelines that we need to protect. Right now, there are large trees that are growing on top of the water lines, and as you all know, the trees have the tendency for the roots to go into the joints and damage the pipes. And these are not 8-inch or 6-inch pipes. If there is a damage and if there is a break on these lines, we're talking about having $1 million repair work on these things and significant environmental damage. I mean, you have heard the stories of force main breaks in Hollywood, what happened there, with the canals and the swimming pools and all that. And that's the scenario we're going to have. I'm not saying the wall is going to prevent it. If there's a break, there's going to be a break. But at least we'll have control on these pipelines because they're going to be on our side of the wall. And I've already talked to the residents at the workshop that if there is any room that we can find, we will accommodate that. But we are putting the wall right on the other side of the pipeline. And if we can accommodate 2 or 3 feet or 5 feet, we will do that. But we did this workshop so that the residents are aware that this project is coming up and that this is going to be a design-build project because it's a precast concrete wall. Most of the time, the vendors have engineers on board. So when we actually go through the design and complete the design phase of it, we'll have another workshop, show exactly what the size of the height of the wall is, where exactly it's going to go. But our intent is to have the wall protect these pipelines and bring the pipelines on our side. So we are not always wondering who's working on the other side of the wall, somebody come in and dig in it, boring anything. We have no control of it on the other side of the wall. That is the intent of it.
So is it safe to say that the main problem is the trees? And my next question is, has the water plant had any problems? Are people trying to break into it in 10 years? That's what we need.
We had a couple of vandalism issues, and we had people jump the fence. And police department came in and took care of that for us. And also, it's not only the trees. Our concern is that these are now about 35 to 40-year-old pipelines. And if it's on the other side of the wall, there's a false idea that there's nothing out there. I mean, I understand the residents being there for 30, 45 years, but there's a lot of maybe tenants that don't know. They might want to drill something in the back, anchor something in the back, and the pipelines are not that deep, they're shallow. And that's our work. We want to protect this infrastructure. And the repercussion from not doing it is extensive. It's going to be a major repair work for us, and environmental damage is going to be significant.
So would it be safe to say if they're 30 or 40 years old, to replace the pipeline first, then maybe worry about the fence later?
The infrastructure issue is something that I'm going to talk about because I'm working with the assistant city manager and the city manager on a complete infrastructure plan. And I will explain, I will provide details of what we are planning to do for the infrastructure side of it. But we have so much of underground infrastructure that we cannot just go and replace. So our idea is to first protect the infrastructure and then start thinking about how to manage it and how to replace it. That is the idea behind it.
I totally agree with you. I mean, I'm on the same lines with you, but you always start from the bottom, working up. So I think if the main problem is the force main or the getting under there,
Yes, sir.
maybe fix that problem first and then worry about the vandals coming in. Or not.
The issue is, as I said, vandalism is a minor issue here. I mean, maybe we had 2 break-ins over the fence in the last, at least 10 years I've been working there. So the bigger issue is the potential damage to the pipeline because of some accidents, or some kind of an accident. Somebody drilling into it, because we have no control of it once the pipelines are on the other side of the wall. So that's the reason why we're proposing the wall right after the wall. We're not even proposing it on the fence on the property line. The map that the residents saw, we are showing it on the property line as that, because that is the worst case scenario. If there is room, we'll move it towards the plant so that they can have more room on the other side.
Okay.
So we're not doing this tomorrow, correct? So because I've got a feeling we're going to have some commissioners that are going to want to come out and look at it. So
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're in the initial stages.
Okay. Commissioner Donahue?
Did I hear you correctly when you said that it was also mandated by Homeland Security that it need to be protected?
It is not a mandate, it's a recommendation.
A recommendation.
We'll probably be out visiting you.
Absolutely.
Vice Mayor?
Anyway, on the concrete wall, that it can be more of a decorative kind of concrete wall rather than just a plank. Can we work on maybe something like that so that's more eye-appealing to the residents to look at if this does go through?
Sure. The intent of the workshop we had at this early stage is to get input from the residents. And I was glad there were so many residents out there, and we got input from them, and we're going to work with them. And I told them that at the workshop, that we will work with them, and we'll come up with a compromise.
Thank you.
Commissioner Rizzo?
I don't think that the wall is what they're worried about. I mean, it's the wall right behind the house, whether it looks like their favorite TV show. I don't think that's the problem they're going to have with it. So if it was me, I would first try to fix the problem underneath. If we don't have to build the wall, these people don't want the wall, we haven't had problems with vandalism, then we can hold up on that.
Commissioner, even after we replace the pipelines, the issue is that the pipelines are that close to the other properties. We have to, today or tomorrow, someday we have to bring it inside our plant so we have control on these lines. Right now we don't. They're on the other side of the fence. I understand nothing happened for the last 45 years, but there's no guarantee that it's not going to happen in the next year or 2 years.
But you and I both know there's pipes all throughout the city.
Absolutely, and that's what I explained to you.
We can't put walls around every pipe.
No, I understand, but what I'm trying to say is that we are working on a plan for the entire infrastructure, but the issue here is these are the 2 biggest lines which are basically serving the entire city. So that is the primary focus. And on top of it, we have to take care of the security of the plant too. So that's a minor point, but the bigger point is that we want our infrastructure inside our premises.
Assistant City Manager.
For the mayor and commission's information, the city manager and I went out and walked the site with Mr. Chipku the other day, and so we've seen the issues particularly on the north side with a lot of the properties along there, and understand the concerns that individuals have, and it'll be balancing that with the things that Reddy spoke about on what we need to do regarding protecting our infrastructure. So as he mentioned, this was the initial phase to get input from people. I know that there are concerned residents, some of them have already spoken this evening, and that those are things that we can hear their concerns and then bring a report back to you all as a commission as far as what we're able to come up with and coming up with the best solution. But it is a difficult issue, as Reddy spoke about, with the location of those lines and trying to protect that asset of the city and make sure that we're balancing that with how to protect that for the whole city as well.
Thanks, Reddy.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Aldermen, and everybody else. First of all, number one, on the 6 o'clock news from Commissioner Tallarico, on the 6 o'clock news, this baby that fell in the pool is in hospital, and at the moment is still alive, just about, but alive. Now the next thing is, Commissioner Donahue, we agree with you as the Lions, by the way, it's Sidney King, 508 Melaleuca Drive, Margate, and I'm president of Margate Lions. We agree with you 100% that we do need a multicultural thing in Margate. We do it in the Lions on a very small way, but we would like to see it grow. And at this time, I would like to offer the Margate Lions Clubhouse as a meeting place that you can use. Of course, it'll be gratis, our pleasure. And if you would like to take it up like that, where you can have some kind of refreshment and things and make it quite an interesting thing, we would be delighted to take part in it. And whatever you want us to do, we will do. So thank you very much. And oh, Rick, where is he? He has brought a wonderful, because of Frank Tallarico, he brought a wonderful crew, and we're decorating and doing all kinds of things in the Lions. And Rick, for all your help, and you two were wonderful. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And thank you.
Assistant City Manager, did you make a note of that?
Thank you.
The Lions Club's offering. Thank you.
Sabrina Siegel, 6890 Northwest 9th Street. I'm talking about the fence. Now, before the folks here who live in Margate, I want you to think really hard. A bunch of people who don't live in Margate are calling the residents who've lived outside of the fence for 45 years. Ignorant people who are definitely going to make a hole in those pipes. Therefore, we have to protect it now. Hello? Mr. City Attorney, at some point in time, there was most likely an agreement between Oriole Homes Margate and the City of Margate as to why the fence was put where it was. This was the first of the homes in the 4 Paradise Gardens. These were the first ones that were built. So somewhere back in time, there was a reason that the fence was put there. Now let's go beyond that to the environmental. The folks who are making the decisions based on our ecosystem didn't even know that there were snakes back there. We have an ecosystem that has raccoons, it has birds, it has iguanas, it even has a bunch of feral and stray cats that were unfortunately dumped, but they've been TNR'd during the time period where people were leaving their homes. So yes, we have a thriving ecosystem. The plan is to tear down the trees, then put up a big old block fence, and then, oh, we'll talk about greening it up later. No, you know what happens then? All of those animals are displaced. You have totally messed up an ecosystem that's been developing for 45 years because of this. Why does it have to be a block fence? Why can't it be something that's see-through? Because it's 6 feet. You're gonna climb a block fence, you're gonna climb any type of fence, please. You can climb the fence that's there right now. And most people don't do that because that's not going to happen with the people that are living there. We all know to call 811. And why do I say that? Because the pipes have never been injured, correct? We've already heard they have not been. Nobody has destroyed the pipes. So we all know to call. I even knew where the pipes were, unlike the folks who were at the meeting, because I had to have spraying put there. So I knew where it was. I knew that the fence didn't have to go where they said it was going to go in my yard. Also, we have the bags, which were where they built up the bank, and that would be affected by this as well. So there are lots of different concerns, and I guess you guys are all coming down, but the ecosystem is one of the bigger issues here as well. Please, people who live in Margate, help make decisions that's going to keep the ecosystem in place. One last thing, raccoons, when they fall from 6 feet, they break them, they break hips and they break knees, and they don't heal. What happens to these animals is that their bones actually start dissolving. It becomes horribly, horribly painful. They drag themselves around. How do I know this? Because I had to track 2 of them, bring them to the Sawgrass Nature Center to be euthanized. If a fence is put up like that without holes for animals to go back and forth in this environment, then we're going to have more and more of this. And I hope that none of you ever have to see anything like that because it was absolutely horrible. And I thank you.
About the security reasons, though, you guys put up a gun range in your backyard.
Yeah, we can go.
I was just gonna ask if we use it as a shooting range. That happens to be a gorgeous piece of property back there. I see it from the canal side, and always thought we needed artwork and stuff for that. Go ahead.
That'll work. Phil Highlander, 6993 Northwest 5th Place. Just another possible unintended consequence of removing some of these trees to put up this wall. In the wastewater plant, there are 2 big fan motors that suck the bad air or out of the wastewater as it comes in so it doesn't smell up the city. Since Hurricane Wilma, I can hear them in my backyard. I'm sure you can hear them in yours. Sam, you probably have heard that in your yard. Mitch, it's just this constant 24-hour drone in the yard. It's gotten better over the years because the trees have grown back. Now we're talking about taking out trees right near where these things are that are blocking this, helping block this noise. If it has to be, for whatever, we have to have this wall up, maybe Reddy and some other people can come up with a solution for this noise pollution that's driving people indoors. We don't sit out in our backyard a lot because that noise is there. It's just a constant hum that you can't get away from. Whether they can put a building around these stands or something, or you can close them, but taking the trees out is certainly going to make it a worse situation than it is now. That's something to think about. See, I have a couple of minutes left here. Last year, when I was gave everybody some information on big leaf trees, one of the things at the very end of it is maybe we need to look at a few of these city regulations that we have in place now. I've been active with that through the chamber with the sign code. One of the things that came up because I wanted to put a shed in my yard was these shed regulations. I talked with Andrew, a little bit with Ben about it, and this 5-foot setback for the sheds. Nobody seems to know why it's there. It's a law. Well, maybe we need to look at that and adjust it. It's, for a shed to get next to a fence on the side of your house where there's no FPL, there's no easements, there's no nothing.
It's the middle of your yard.
The middle of the yard, right. So I'm going to throw this out to the commission, city attorney, assistant city manager, whoever can get involved with this, and maybe we can look at that and come up with some reasonable shed laws. Having an 8-inch thick foundation for a shed, when I think a house is only 4 or 6 inches, seems a little excessive. So these are some things that...
Good evening. I'm Jerry Pauls. I live at 6750 Northwest 9th Street. Paradise Garden Salon. I've got many years of experience in Wisconsin working easements and property lines and fully understand the legal situations where the properties have certain rights, the city in this case has rights, as well as the utility easement that's behind the property I live at. As part of my understanding is there's a very active 811 service available that has promoted the fact that if you're going to do something in your backyard that disturbs the land, you should call 811, which I did, and a city representative came out this afternoon and spent some time trying to locate these supposed pipes. The only thing he did was to put a little rectangular spray of paint in the grass, which is approximately, based on the drawing that was presented to us Monday night at the workshop, is probably between 15 and 20 feet to the south of where the proposed line of the fence is going, because it's my clear understanding that it's going on the edge of the property, which is on the south edge of the utility easement. I'm not opposed to the wall at all. In fact, it would offer some privacy because of the fact that right behind where I live is where all the workers come in and out of the doors for the treatment plant. But I am very upset about the location. I mean, you can imagine, right now I look out the back of the house to about 100 feet of green land, and it'll be reduced to 10 or 12 feet. I don't think that's fair. Plus the fact, in fact, and I'm not lying, this morning the first thing I heard was a bird in one of the trees chirping that you're going to be tearing down. So I really ask that you really take a serious look at this before anything happens. Again, I'm not opposed to the wall. In fact, I would like to see it, but not so close to the houses. And again, if with the age of the pipes and things that are under the ground, we need to take a serious look at what is proposed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. For all you people that live along there, I take Splenda in my coffee when I come to walk your yards.
My name is Barbara Brainerd, and I just moved into Margate. Fortunately, but unfortunately, I am on 9th Street next to Jerry. And one of the features the real estate agent said is you have all this yard in the back. You cannot build on it. You cannot put anything on it. You can't do this. It's not yours. It's there for you to use, which was wonderful. I have a 7-year-old grandson I take care of. It's a great place for him to play. They put this wall up. It's going to be out my back door. He's going to play in the street. I do a lot of sewing. I sat there this morning at the sewing machine at 7 o'clock. The sun's coming up. I'm not going to see that. Not this big wall. The breeze. My husband made that remark. When we first bought the place in November, we had this open breeze coming through. We're not going to have that. That's going to be gone. Now, I understand that they need something. Why does it have to be a wall? Thank you.
Rich Popovic, 6066 Winfield Boulevard. I'd like to say that I don't believe in no multicultural nothing in America. If you want to have your own cultural club, ethnically, I see Polish clubs, Italian-American clubs, German clubs. I see Northern clubs. You want a Jamaican club, you want to have a Haitian club, you can start one yourself. You don't need no government doing that. And if you're going to start a club like that, it'll be learn to be an American club. Learn to speak English. Let's get with the program. You want to deal with the people in this easement? It's very simple. You don't have to build a wall. You want to put stakes in the lawn, show where the property line is, send them a letter and tell them. There's no gold in the backyard, no digging. It's very easy. Been working for a long time, nothing's changed. Just everybody's getting randy, want to spend some money. I know how it works around here. Spend money on dilly squat and talk to nobody. Gotta get a good idea. Okay? Now, here's a good one for you. Brand new, but vacant. Brand new homes built by the county in another area. Board it up. Here's a picture. They got boards on it, brand new. Can't give them away because they can't find anybody qualified for them. Interestingly enough, they put them on county property and spent $220,000 for each house on county-owned lots, but they'll be sold for $140,000. Well, don't they sound like geniuses? They sound as dumb as you. You do the same damn thing. It's terrible. Anybody in government that wants to lose the taxpayers' money this way should be arrested.
My name is Carolyn Sullivan. First of all, I want to thank you. You've been very nice and for your interest and consideration on our little plea that we have here. Okay, here to comment on the proposed concrete wall behind Northwest 9th Street in Paradise Gardens 1. I live at 6750 Northwest 9th Street. My family was the first to move into Paradise Gardens 1 in 1969. My father used to say, only God knows about Margate, it's so peaceful. It was known as a bird habitat and an animal sanctuary. We used to love to sit on our rear screen porch with a view of our trees and watch the birds and butterflies enjoying the greenery. I remember sitting in City Manager Mudd's office, and he would give me tips on how to attract birds. He was a lover of wildlife. Years ago, when we had the citrus kangaroo crisis with the state, when they were going to cut down all our citrus trees, I filed an appeal, it cost me $500 in the case, and I was asked to represent the city of Margate in West Palm Beach 9th Appeals Court. The appeal eventually was denied and all my trees were removed. About 5 years ago, I found I could plant again, which I did in the same locations as before. This year will be the first year the trees should be mature enough to bear fruit, and now the city of Margate, the ones who asked me to represent them in the citrus tank crisis, wants to remove them again to make way for a concrete wall. If this wall is erected where it is proposed to, it will destroy not only our trees and plants, but our quality of life as well. For 45 years, we've enjoyed wildlife because of the green atmosphere that we created behind the house. Every day, it's a gift to go out and see birds and butterflies on our citrus trees. Put up the wall in such a location to the back of my house and all that will disappear. The proposed wall will be about 8 feet from my house and it will be like a blanket. Florida is hot enough, and not only will the wall block the breeze, but by cutting down the trees, the house itself will be shade that keeps it cooler in hot weather. If you locate the wall as proposed, you will have many unhappy residents, as the land south of the proposed wall is not going to be used, because I asked Mr. Chiptu about that. And you know, I don't mind compromising and locating the wall maybe 30 feet to the south or something, but would you please consider that? And I would appreciate it. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. My house?
Rich Allen, resident of Margate. As we conclude with this public discussion, I just had to come up here and just say a few things about what people said. It sounds to me like this wall is going to be an issue down the road, but I know there's a lot of work to be done in Margate with water lines. We had discussion on this before. If they put this wall up, I have to study it more. I don't really know what they're going to do, but if the wall is put up and they have an issue with something to do later on, you have this wall, it's going to probably be a problem. We'll have to tear it down, move it out of the way. I don't know what they're going to do with that. And the people that just discussed this, that live there, I don't live there, but I would be against it too. I don't like to see walls up, unless it's really like Beirut or something. We don't live in Beirut, it's Margate. We had vandals jumping over the wall, and they want to do what they want to do, they're going to do that. If they destroy your property, machinery back there, or whatever it is, I'm sure that's going to happen, whether there's a wall or no wall. But that wall issue, I'm sure you're going to take care of, because there'll be people here discussing it and try to see what they can do with these people before they get this wall put up. I would say the wall is totally ridiculous. 6-foot wall, looking at that would be not a good idea, from what I just heard from these people. But anyway, that's just my input on that, just as a concerned resident here. My second thing is, by the way, is there anything that's going to happen to downtown Margate over here in this parcel that we bought this swap shop from this gentleman years and years ago? Commissioner Donahue, you just made some comments. Is anybody going to get anything in there, or are we having ideas? Or is it a secret? Because if it's a secret, you don't have to tell, but I'm just asking a question. The question is, we don't want a gas station, we don't want townhouses, what are we going to do there? Last I heard that they had some money and somebody was going to build a townhouse there, and then all of a sudden it fell through. The person didn't get the money. Now, just, if you make a comment, I'm interested in it. I'd just like to see what's going on in that parcel. It's a nice area. Maybe we can get something over there like a theater or something, Margate Art Theater, and, have shows there or whatever, but, I don't know. The money is the issue, though. That's the whole thing. Thank you, anyway.
If you want to, the CRA meetings are the third Wednesday of the month. We have a new group that is working with us called RMA. They're an excellent group, got a lot of bright ideas, really know their stuff, and they've come in and they're actually negotiating with a developer that has shown interest and has wanted to do some work down here for us. So we're doing things. It's just, again, we were hit by the economy of the past. Again, and I'll say this, it's been said, that because we own the property, we're sitting better than almost any other CRA in the county, or actually in the state. Because we own the property, we have the ability to offer tax incentives, building incentives, all kinds of things. Whereas a lot of CRAs, they don't own the property and they have to deal with the business owners that own it. So something's going to go on. Could I guarantee you it's in my lifetime? No. But I can guarantee you something will go on. But I would suggest, if you'd like, come to one of the CRA meetings or stop at the CRA office and talk to any of the people up there, because they're extremely bright people. And they do have a lot of visions in helping us move forward like we would like to. Commissioner Rosano, you're up.
Brady, I want to get back to the wall for a second here. How much money is budgeted for this wall project?
$300,000.
How much?
$300,000.
$300,000. Has there been any money budgeted or earmarked for the underground piping that's going to need to be fixed?
I'm sorry?
Has there been any money put aside for the piping that needs to be fixed, or the mains underneath?
Not in that location, but in general for the other areas in the city, yes. We have a certain amount budgeted every year for replacement.
All right, thank you.
Okay, just for the public that spoke, we hear you. And we're going to have the assistant city manager and staff, and again, you'll probably have us in your backyards coming by this week or something like that. But we do hear what you're saying, and we'll see what we can all work together and figure out to make this work properly. Consent agenda.
A resolution of the City of Margate, Florida, approving utility easement deed and bill of sale with MITA Commons LLC for maintenance of water facilities located at 300 to 366 South State Road 7, providing for a public purpose, providing an effective date. A resolution of the City of Margate, Florida, approving a letter of understanding with the City of Coral Springs for usage of the Coral Springs Fire Academy training grounds, providing for facility usage fee of $36 per hour, providing for instructor fee of $35 per hour, providing for a one-year term. Resolution of the City of Margate, Florida, approving reappointment of Anthony G. Romano to the Civil Service Board.
What's the wish of the commission?
So moved to approve.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Talarico?
Aye.
Commissioner Donahue?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosano?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Salone?
Yes.
Mayor Pearman?
Aye. Commissioner Talarico?
Mr. Romano's here, just want to stand there, people can see.
Oh. Thank you.
What was your rank?
Yeah, I was ranked, but but one thing I could say, if you need information, my job used to be Homeland Security surveys for the government, so if you need any wall questions from the government side of Homeland Security, that's what I did. So.
Give up the assistant city manager.
How convenient.
Resolutions, number 5.
A resolution of the City of Margate, Florida, approving appointment of and spaces blank for insertion of the name as the representative and space blank for insertion of the name as the alternate for the City of Margate Resource Recovery Board mediation process with Broward County.
What's the wish of the commission?
I insert the name for Mayor Pearman.
Is there a second?
Second.
And I would like to insert the name Fran Talarico for the representative.
The alternative? Thank you.
Alternative.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Public?
Mr. Leach at 6890 Northwest 9th Street. Just for clarification, I remember all this from last year. Resource Recovery Board, I thought was being dissolved.
Yes, it is. What this is that the cities that were part of the ILA, part of the Resource Recovery Board, is having to sue the county because there's a difference of opinion on who owned the assets when it was dissolved. The cities believe that they owned it and it should be split up with the cities and the county. The county believes that they own it all outright and the cities get nothing. That's what the mediation is to try to decide at this point.
Sorry, I didn't do my reading. But
That's all right.
Yeah.
Rich Popovic, 6066 Winfield Boulevard. Well, I remember that exactly what was going on, and that's what this was about. And so you're suing the county and get the money back. Resource Recovery Board, Frank.
We're not suing, we're going to mediation.
Well, you know, everybody's gonna sue because their mediation doesn't work. You know, with that is that just to set the waters up to grab some money. And so that brings me down to this, because Pearman don't know nothing, and Frank doesn't know nothing either. So I think that we should be represented by Mr. Steinfield, who knows everything. That's what you need that guy for.
He's our legal representative. Thanks, Richard, for the vote of confidence.
Mr. Popovic, it's Mayor Pearman, and our city attorney will be representing us as well as an elected officials at the mediations. B. Sorry.
Did we vote?
Oh, I'm sorry, no, call the roll.
Commissioner Talarico? Aye. Commissioner Donahue?
Yes.
Commissioner Romano?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Salone?
Yes.
Mayor Pearman?
Yes. B.
A resolution of the City of Margate, Florida, approving waiving of bidding and award of the sole source purchase of 2 prominent Promex S polymer blending systems from AMG, a division of Trinova Inc., in an amount not to exceed $22,000 for the Department of Environmental and Engineering Services, providing for an on-site service and 1-day supervisory startup.
What's the wish of the commission?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Public? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Talarico?
Aye.
Commissioner Donahue?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosano?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Salone?
Yes.
Mayor Pearman?
Aye. C.
A resolution of the City of Margate, Florida, approving a second amendment to the interlocal agreement between Broward County and the City of Margate for designation of sub-recipient and disbursement home program housing rehabilitation program for year 2011-2012, providing for amended final expenditure date.
What's the wish of the commission?
So moved to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Public?
Rich Popovic, 6066 Woodfield Boulevard. As I pointed out in public discussion, the county wasn't doing exactly really well with the room program that they were running. And now you're going to get them to run our program, which was even worse. And so I want you people to pay attention to this again. The federal government is broke. That's where this money comes from. They borrow 48 cents of every dollar they give away, so they have nothing to really give away. And then losing hundreds of thousands of dollars on each house is literally insane. I mean, you people don't understand. You do not do this. You don't have to lose this money. You don't have to buy into this stuff. A lot of these homes are done privately. Counties build homes where nobody wants them. And they're using the federal money, which the federal government doesn't have any money to give. That's why the whole country collapsed because of this. Don't you get it? And you may think I'm a nut for coming up and saying this, but you are all the tentacles of government spending money. Think of all the cities that are spending money like this and losing it all through the country. You can set a precedent where you won't have to engage in this stupid activity. You could show common sense for good of America.
Commissioner Tallarico.
I think our success with these programs speaks for itself. And we've got these houses rehabilitated. The people in the neighborhoods are glad that these houses in their neighborhoods are rehabilitated. Instead of having rundown houses next to them, they're rehabilitated. There's people living in them. I don't know if we do have a waiting list now for those houses or not. We do. So, I mean, it's a successful program. And try to remember, too, now I know we talked about this before, the federal government has this money available and we can use it. They will take that money. If they're not going to take it back, they're just going to send it somewhere else. So why should we send it to California or Minnesota or somewhere else? And our citizens can use it. And if you had a house going to pot next to your house and we could rehabilitate it and make your neighborhood nicer, would you say, nah, just let it run down and be a piece of garbage? No, we fix them up. And it's been a very successful program.
We actually have had a house in that, Commissioner Tallarico, we actually have had a house in that area, and neighbors have written us and thanked us for that. However, just to be completely clear so that people understand, what we're actually voting on is a change of date. The final expenditure from February 11th, 2014 to February 13th, 2015. That's what this actual vote is going for, is the change of date. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Tallarico? Commissioner Donahue?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosano?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simone?
Yes.
Mayor Garrett?
Yes. What do we see? D. Thank you.
A resolution of the City of Margate, Florida, declaring city property as surplus and authorizing the administration to donate electronic, computer, and computer-related equipment to Art Broward, providing for disposal, providing for a public purpose.
What's the wish of the commission?
So moved to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I got a question. Gene, are we able to buy stuff at auctions, being commissioners, or no?
You will, a sealed bid, it has to be sealed for a commissioner to buy things at a city auction.
So like the one they had at Public Works, we weren't able to go there and buy things? No? Okay.
But this is for a recycle.
No, I know. I'm just wondering the other one.
There was a, we used to look, somebody did this.
Okay, gotcha.
Mr. Holland, did you want to speak? Okay. Public? Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, public.
Phil Highlander, 6993 Northwest 5th Place. This is not going out to auction. This
No.
is a donation to ARC, the
Yes.
for-profit corporation.
Yeah.
ARC is that they do
This is for
recycling.
recycling. This is for the recycling.
They're a for-profit corporation, okay?
For?
They're out to make money.
Okay.
They're a business. I didn't go through the list extensively, but I did notice there were about 15 or 20 Toughbook notebook computers on there. I did a quick search. They're selling for anywhere from $100 to $250 on eBay and Amazon. Why can't we at least donate them to SOS Children's Village or Cokesbury Church, one of their programs, or the senior center? for the library. I'm sure before we give them to Art, the IT department likes hard drives. I would hope so, so there's no bad information, classified information getting out. But I would think that maybe these could be donated to a not-for-profit organization, and somebody could use them. I don't know about the other stuff in there. All those netbooks, the notebooks, they can't all be bad. I'm guessing that some of them are just fine, maybe most of them, and it was time to replace them. So it's a good place to pay it forward to somebody else that could use them instead of just giving them up. Thank you.
City Manager, Assistant City Manager, you want to address that?
Sure, just a point of clarification first. According to their website for this program, they do indicate that Art Broward is a 501c3 charitable organization. And we do remove the hard drives from the computer. There were some attempts in the past to auction off computer equipment. The staff brought me a couple of examples of some that we did where, at least in one of those cases, they had to group a whole bunch of items like on a pallet in order to be able to sell it. But that they had worked with this organization in the past. So from just my quick review of it, they can take these, divide them up into components and do whatever they need to do with that to, maybe some of those can be reused or, consolidated down, destroyed, whatever needs to happen to them. It's just a way for us, and actually residents in Broward County have this resource available as well. If they go to the website and have some electronics they want to properly dispose of, that they want to dispose of, they can take it to this organization as well. They have a different pages on their site that explains, what they do and why they do it and so on.
Commissioner Talarico.
Maybe I'm mistaken. ARC, is that the Association of Retarded Citizens that's getting this? ARC?
This is now that may be like the overall group, but this is the specific electronics recycling program that they have.
But that's who the main group is, Association of Retarded Citizens. I thought so. Could be wrong.
Margaret, 4829 South Greenway Circle. My question was, what is ARC? Why is it ARC? You're sort of asking and the same thing I'm asking. Who are they? Why are we giving it to them?
ARC is a facility that hires disabled people. They take these electronics and break them down into their component parts and then recycle what they can and utilize whatever recycling you can do. Disposing of electronics is a difficult situation. Having worked with the Resource Recovery Board, they had subsidized ARC. As I said, to the best of my knowledge, I always understood it to be a 501c3. The county has always been very favorable to ARC because it does hire and put to work disabled individuals.
Mr. Felicia, 6890 Northwest 9th Street. I just got to kick out the cassette players that are on here. We still have cassette players. Thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Talarico? Aye. Commissioner Donahue?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosano?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simone?
Yes.
Mayor Pearman?
Yes.
A resolution of the City of Margate, Florida, approving the waiving of bidding and award of the sole source purchase of various Myers pumps for use in city's lift stations to the Department of Environmental and Engineering Services to the Custom Pump and Controls, Inc., in an amount not to exceed $46,440.
What's the wish of the commission?
So moved to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Public. Call the roll.
Commissioner Talarico? Aye. Commissioner Donahue?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosano?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simone?
Yes.
Mayor Pearman?
Yes. F.
A resolution of the City of Margate, Florida, accepting amendments to the 2013-2014 Victims of Crime Act, VOCA, grant agreement V13155 between the State of Florida, Office of the Attorney General, and the City of Margate Police Department to fund the City of Margate Police Department's full-time victim advocate position, providing to include non-discrimination in programs involving students, providing for requirements to utilize computer network.
What's the wish of the commission?
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Public. Call the roll.
Commissioner Talarico? Aye. Commissioner Donahue?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosano?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simone?
Yes.
Mayor Pierman?
Yes. G.
Approving waiver of fees for Calypso Cove Aquatics Facility in Royal Palm Park for annual Celebrate Employee Service event.
What's the wish of the commission?
So moved to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Public.
Rich Popovic, 6066 Winfield Boulevard. I'm under the impression that Calypso Cove loses money every year. Am I wrong on that? 250,000, if I remember correctly. That was the number. And now we're going to waive fees. I mean, I think we let people in 4th of July for free, or half price. I mean, what do we want here? Social welfare program in the city? Is this how this works? I mean, really? You're losing money and you just keep losing money and you guys just think it's okay. I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. I just keep on thinking that's okay. And you all think it's okay now. Everybody is. You can't come up with something better than this? Paying full price? I mean, don't you ever think that you're supposed to be out of that, pay for something so it actually works? I saw Coral Springs is raising fees in their city, freezing some of their parks and stuff because it was not cost effective. Now, I don't mind supplying amenities to the people, but you didn't even pay for that park, you got it on a grant, and now you've mismanaged it so bad that you're losing all this money every year. I mean, when are you going to pull it together? For real. I don't want against the employees, but why don't you just send them to Disneyland?
It's too far.
Park. Typically in government, parks are not supposed to make money. They're an amenity that you pay for with your taxes. It's part of your...
Supposed to lose money either.
Excuse me, Mr. Popovic. They are amenities that you pay for in your millage rate and in your taxes. If they make money, that's a bonus, but there's not any part that is sole reason is to make money. Commissioner
I was
Talarico.
going to echo the same thing you're saying. You take all the ball fields, the soccer fields, add it all up, the budget, what we spend on it, we're losing our shirts. My God, maybe we should close down the soccer and baseball field. Or charge people. Maybe we should charge people to use it, but we don't. It's part of a recreation program. So is this. And it goes to help the kids and the people in our city. That's what taxes are.
Mr. Felicia, Margate again. Do I understand this correctly? This is an employee party,
Yes,
right?
first one.
And I would hope that you all would make it the best it possibly could be to treat our people the best you possibly can. Thank you.
Anthony Caggiano, 7856 Northwest First Street, Margate. I don't have a problem with the party and having an employee day, but what I do think is that you should change the price for Calypso Cove. I drive by that many times, and the place is empty. 4th of July, you had the price half price, the place was jammed. I think we should consider at least a pilot program to half the price of Calypso Cove and see if you half the price, more people will show up. If you have a person with 2 kids, they have to pay $21 for 3 people to walk in there. How many people are going to spend $21 how many times to walk into Calypso Cove? But if you have it where it's $3.50 a person and it's $11.50 for 3 people, I think you're going to get a lot more people who are going to show up and pay the money.
And since you have a concession stand there, you have an ability to sell a lot more items at the concession stand and raise more money. I think you'll have more people showing up, and you'll have more concessions sold at the stand.
Okay, and we are looking into a Margate resident discount, season pass discounts. We're looking into different types of offerings for Margate residents for the pool to make it
Free. No, more reasonable.
to make it more reasonable. Commissioner Rosano.
My opinion on the park is if nobody's there on Monday and 1,000 people are there on Tuesday, basically it's going to cost the same to run it. Basically, pumps are running, everything's running, the pool's running. So the thing is to get the people there. I think the price of the park is way too high. You know, if it was me, I would make it a free park. That was me. Maybe we could start something where it's a kid's birthday, they enter for free, like Denny's does the free dinner. Just something to get more people in there, because the park is not going to make money unless people are going to go to the park. And from what I see, the park is high priced.
Vice Mayor.
Yes, I agree, and this has been discussed several times, and I know that we are working on reducing the fee of Calypso Co. That I agree, it's too expensive. I've heard residents say that they will go to another pool with their family and bring their friends because Calypso Cove is too expensive. So we are working on it, and hopefully things will improve in that area.
Well, if we're losing money on the park, we're not making money on the door, on the people coming in, so why not give them the allowance to come in and maybe make money elsewhere in the park with food or something like that. But it is a park, so if we're not charging for other parks in the city, why even charge for this park for Margate residents?
We have to pay the employees something. Mr. Donahue, Commissioner Donahue, what do you want, or are you off?
Just one point, that's not the issue before us. The issue is just simply about this particular date.
You know, I don't move my hand, that just got slapped. Okay, hello.
Commissioner Talarico? Aye. Commissioner Donahue?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosano?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simone?
Yes.
Mayor Perry?
Yes. 6, ordinance.
An ordinance amending the code of the City of Margate, Florida, Appendix A, zoning, Article 22, sign code, amending Section 22.2, definitions, providing for grand opening signs, amending Section 22.7, temporary signs, providing for grand opening ground sign regulations, providing for repeal, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for retrospective application to new businesses opening on or after January 1st, 2013, providing for an effective date.
What's the wish of the commission?
So moved to approve?
Second.
Discussion. Public. Don't be.
Mitch Palaci again. Great program. But thinking about it tonight, I have a question, and that is, what is the reason for codifying, the sign codes? There's been so much going on. There's been so much conversation. There's seems to be a lot of organizations working on them. Is it necessary to codify all the sign code decisions? Only because it takes a long time. The sign code thing was, you brought it before the commission in April last year, and it takes a long time to codify these things. And I'm just curious, do they all have to, does everything in the sign code have to be codified, or can it be controlled some other way that makes it more flexible?
All right, this is not a decision. This is the permanent law of the city. The permanent law of the city, especially as it relates to zoning, needs to be permanently a part of the code. That's what codification is. If we had laws that were not codified, then no one would know the law, that the public could not find the law without picking it up from the clerk's office. It would not be a part of the permanent compendium of law. Just like all the permanent statutes are published, our permanent laws are published.
Thank you. And I guess if I could ask one more question, why is it necessary to make a sign code a law? I guess is my question. Yeah, I do understand that Attorney Steinfeld, I do understand about
The
finding them.
the state laws say that sign codes have to be law.
Thank you.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Talarico? Aye. Commissioner Donahue?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosano?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simone?
Yes.
Mayor Pearman?
Yes. Number 7.
Discussion, possible action.
Approving the Athlete of the Month program?
Right, a resolution of the City of, Commission of the City of Margate, Florida, approving the City of Margate Athlete of the Month program, providing for application and award, providing for funding, providing the budget.
Okay, there's a couple things that I need to find out clarification for, because I misunderstood the word organization when Mr. Jones had said that there would be 3 organizations a month. I took that to mean 3 separate sports a month, and I've been informed that I'm incorrect in that thought. So my feeling is 3 separate sports as opposed to 3 separate organizations, and we need to fix whatever word that's going to be before we can pass this. Is one of them. The other clarification is to clarify the random draw, first come, first serve, how we want the city clerk to handle how the applications get picked. And was there one other one? Let me see here. Just to nail down that we have the donations set up properly, which I think we did that at the workshop. We set that up. So those two clarifications we need to make before we can pass this. So, Commissioner Rosano.
I think the organizations, leaving it like that, please, probably, in my view, the best way, because you can have somebody involved in a youth soccer league, and then somebody, say, at Monarch High School that plays soccer, and they're from Margate. 2 totally different, ways, but in the same area. So, I would like to keep the word organization in there. And then as far as the voting, the choosing, I'm fine with a random draw, because I don't want to see people just submitting their first application and then winning. I think it's more fair. They all come in, they draw, they pick whatever, and that's who it is. That's my opinion. And then the other thing is, I want to know we can talk about is the it says next year that the athletes and the students would receive, we're going back to the certificates. If we can include that into next year's budget as the students, the athletes, and the teachers, they all receive plaques.
Yeah, we're still going to have that discussion on plaques, and we started it at the workshop.
Yeah, started here somewhere.
We started it at the workshop, but just to get the program started, we're throwing the plaques for a year, just so we can get this as a approved commission program. Anybody else have any discussion on whether it's organization or sport? I will say to me, with the organization, when you say athlete of the month, I'm thinking separate sports. So I wouldn't really want to see 2 soccer players on the same, in the same month. I'd rather that second soccer player be the next month. That's why to me it was like baseball, basketball, football, whatever sport, they're the athlete of that particular sport. That's why I had thought that he had meant sport when he had said 3 separate ones, as opposed to organization. I like the idea that tonight we did baseball and soccer, as opposed to maybe if there would have been 2 soccer people or 2 baseball, that person that was the soccer player wouldn't feel as honored, I guess, as the other. So I just think that changing it to sport, then you're honoring that particular sport for that month. Is that so? Anybody else want to have an issue with changing the word to sport?
Yeah, but my only question about the sports is, do we ever have less than 3 different sports going on in the city at one time?
Well, we're going to reach out to the high schools and to the middle schools and hopefully bring in a lot more people that we haven't been able to reach. So we could very well have a number of sports going on at the same time. That's why the random draw, first come first serve thing is that I prefer just leave it up to the city clerk's office as to picking who they are, because they know. Let's say in January we have baseball, soccer, and football. And then February maybe we have tennis, swimming, and badminton. Or, you know what I'm saying? I think leaving it up to the city clerk's office, because they will have known what we had last year. Then we don't get too repetitive. If we don't get any other applications from the other sports, then we do the sports that we have. But that's to me the best. Let the city clerk's office handle it. They handle all our programs as it is anyway. So that would be, my change the word to sport and, just give it to the city clerk's office to pick out the winners from the applications. Do I have a consensus? Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Tallarico.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get something straight.
Yes.
If, some people are obviously more aggressive than others, somebody has more free time. People from the same league or from the same group, maybe here, right, City Hall opens, here's my application, first come, first served. They're going to be time stamped, but they're there all the time. That's their job,
That's right. That's why we're leaving it to the city clerk to pick them.
Yeah,
We're not going to do time stamp.
but how's he going to, what is he going to do? Just pick them, you want to leave the onus on him, or just have random draw?
Go ahead, Joseph.
Thank you, Mayor. One of the solutions to this item would be to do a random draw, and then if somebody did not get selected, they can reapply next month, because the way the program is written, it's for a year of athletic achievement. They could be recognized for the whole year. So, the way that Commissioner Rosado mentioned it, if multiple baseball people apply for baseball and only one got selected, the next month that person did not get selected can reapply.
I don't like the reapplying. That's like, I don't like the, can't you just take all the applications you get for baseball and put in this pile, and all the applications you get for soccer and put in this pile? Why do they have to reapply every month?
Because I guess the thought process from the city clerk's office is that if somebody applied for that month, the recognition was for that month. And maybe if they're students or they're traveling, maybe for next month they wouldn't be available. And if they wanted to reapply.
Well, wouldn't you call them and say, are you available to be, your name was picked, are you available to be here for January or February's after the...
We can do that as well.
I just don't want to make people have to reapply. I mean, every month. You're going to get new ones in every month, too.
Correct.
Yeah, well, if you can do one, but you say you don't want with a random draw, that works out fine. But you could have somebody, you could fill your whole athletes for the year in one week. They put all because, okay, we can take.
What is wrong with that?
Well,
if we
they
can
don't
fill
play
it
soccer. Soccer isn't all year. Baseball's not all
But the soccer people are going to put in an application. We just had one tonight.
Yes.
Okay, they're going to put in an application. If they don't make February, then they could make March or April or May.
No, but I'm saying.
Doesn't matter when their sport is playing.
No, I'm saying is, if you have what's our limited number? 3, right?
Yes.
It's 36 kids for the whole year, correct? Okay. If that first week or month, you get 36 applications, it's closed. It's done.
From 3 separate sports.
Yeah.
From 3. No, it's not, no. You're going to get 36 applications maybe from, like, baseball and soccer. We haven't sent it out to the high schools yet, okay? So you're going to get applications from the baseball team. You're going to get them from the soccer team, okay? They're going to have them separated, baseball, soccer, basketball, whatever, karate, whatever the other one is. And then the city clerk's office is going to say, all right, in January, we had soccer and we had baseball. So now we happen to have a basketball, badminton, tennis or something, okay? The next month, then they can go, do you understand? And you throw them in a hat for all I care. I'm trying to make it fair for everybody, because if you do a random draw, okay, well, now that we fixed it from organization, if we do a random draw, you're going to get 800 baseball players, because the baseball people are going to put in their baseball team. Their cities.
Okay, so each sport can have a random draw, right?
That's what we just said.
But you said you wanted the clerk to pick them.
Yeah, well, that's who's doing the random draw.
Not random, so that's what we're talking about.
Look, the city clerk's going to do that.
Okay.
The city clerk's going to do that. They're going to pick them. Good.
I thought, I was under the impression that the baseball league was going to submit one, soccer league was going to submit one, and then I thought that you put all the different sports in a pile, grab one from each. If you have 5, you put them in, and you pick 3. I didn't, and then you get rid of them. Next month, you get your new applications, you divide them up, and you pick the 3.
You're going to have somebody coming in every month to put in an application. Your program's going to go down the tubes. People aren't going to do that.
Well, how is it fair if this guy puts an application in for January and he knows he's going to win it in December? I don't understand that.
Why can't he?
Why should he? If it's
Why shouldn't he? Go ahead, Vice Mayor. Help me out.
If you made each month sport-specific, I think it would take care of the problem. Why couldn't it be?
South Florida. We just gave a swimmer an award in December.
Okay, so why couldn't we give the swimming award in a different month? If each month is sport-specific, then it takes care of this problem.
Personally, I don't know how many swimmers we're going to get. I mean, I think we're dragging this thing way too far. You just get your applications, you pick 3, that's it.
Let's do it. Wait. Let's do it that way. Let's do it that way. Okay.
Maybe we hear from the people. See if they
Wait a minute. We still have Commissioner Tallarico and then Commissioner Donahue.
If you have each organization, each month submit one athlete, okay?
That's it.
That's fine. That's the easiest way to do it. One. And next month, you submit another one. You don't want somebody to submit 25 applications. You say, okay, we're everybody's shot, put all 25 in here. One a month per organization. But you're the students of the month. Don't you get one student a month they submit to us? Yeah. Right?
If they know they're doing it every month.
Yeah, well, we're doing ours every month.
No, they know, the schools know they're doing them every month. I believe they go through the grades over there, don't they, Vice Mayor? Okay, but they know we have the program. They know they're going through every month, so they pick the people, they send us the people.
So what's wrong with submitting one from each organization a month instead of 25?
Excuse me. If that's how you want to do.
That's just my
suggestion. Just wait a minute, Mr. King. If that's how y'all.
Very briefly.
No, hold on a minute, please. Okay. We got Commissioner Donahue as next. If that's how y'all want to do it, that's fine. Okay? I'm putting it out here, and you have to give direction so that we know how it gets picked. Commissioner Donahue is next. Sorry about the Donahue.
Mr. Jones, I have a question about the sports. We have, let's say, one sport. We have many different teams. So when they submit the athlete, is it coming from all of those different teams and then narrowed down in that one sport to the one person?
The way it's currently written is for one nominee per organization, and that's it. Margate Youth Baseball can only nominate one child for September. They can only nominate one child for October. So Margate Youth Baseball, Margate Youth Soccer, basketball, swim team, Coconut Creek High School, anywhere can only nominate one per month, or else you'll have a possible 1,000 in a given month.
So you don't get a whole slew of, athletes for us to have to deal with and wade through. You're gonna get one per.
In his current program, yes.
Okay. And there, let's say you have 6 or 8, whatever athletes, and you pick one, it's sports, and if you didn't win, you didn't win. And then you rotate to the next month, and you do it again. It seems simple enough. Thank you.
Okay, so let's get this straight so we know what we're voting on. We're changing it to sport. The city clerk's office will be sending out every month to all the organizations, all of the sports places and everything every month for a new application every month. And if your application came in the month of January, then it gets tossed in the circular file and you have to reapply. And the city clerk's office is picking them.
Yes.
You got that, Joseph?
Almost.
Almost. Now you got it? Okay, Mr. King.
Sidney King, 508 Melaleuca Drive, Margate. I have had some experience of this. In fact, we ran the program in England. Now, you've been debating this for now, I don't know, quarter of an hour. The position is, or should be, I'll draw you this. On January, this kid from Margate Middle School scores 5 goals, and he is worthy of Athlete of the Month because of what he has done. Not because of the organisation, what he has done. At the same time, you may have a karate kid who's done something. So you only get the people who have done an outstanding thing. It's not just they participated, this is what they have done, and it's outstanding. It could also be that it was a sportsman of the year, whereas the guy kicked a ball out because somebody was on the ground bleeding, that's a sporting thing. There are not that many in a month. There's not hundreds and hundreds, there's usually a small amount. Now, so long as you've got the rules, then that's all you need. So it's one, not an organisation, it's one athlete who has done something outstanding. And in fact, I have some black and white stuff. You're welcome to have it. It's very easy, but the only thing is what you need, and the city clerk has got a hell of a job to sort out which is better. 5 goals, 2 throws out of 7, but other than that, you don't need. And Commissioner Rosano, anytime you want to look at whatever we've got, you're welcome to it. And thank you. Please, let's have what we call in England horses for courses. People who know what it's, what the thing is. And if you've got the experts or somebody who knows, you'll save yourself a real lot of grief, and you'll save yourself people who stand up and say things and, well, that are not quite right. So thank you very much.
Assistant City Manager.
Just a suggestion from our Parks and Rec Director that may help to clarify the sport versus organization question. He suggested that we could accept one application from each organization, and that could be for a sport. So say, for example, the Pony League submitted one, but also the baseball team at one of the high schools submitted one. You could accept both of those. And then the way you could distinguish so that you weren't getting all the same sports in a month, if that was the case, is once a baseball one is drawn, and that's the only baseball winner for that month, and you move to a different sport. But that way they all go into the same opportunity.
What we said.
And it's not just, you have a way to distinguish between those when you get multiple from the same sport.
That's why we needed to change it from organization to sport so that we know it. Any of the organizations can go, can put it in, but the sport itself. Okay, Commissioner Rosanna.
Sidney, I understand what you're saying, but when he gets to Joseph and he picks up that piece of paper and says, well, Johnny scored 5 goals and Jeff scored 1 goal, obviously this one looks better on paper, but I think we're all here for the same reason. It's not who is the best, it's the one who succeeded out of their realm, you know what I'm saying? So it could be the little guy who never scored a goal all season, scored that goal. So for him to get all that information is going to be very hard. So what we're saying is to draw it.
Joseph,
Timmy?
you have my support anytime you want it.
Mr. King, thank you. Okay, so can I get a motion to approve as we have changed it?
Yes.
And you have the changes, correct, City Clerk?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. Public.
Yeah, Rich Popovic, 606 Winfield Boulevard. I'd just like to thank you for sitting up here and showing everybody really how dysfunctional you can really be. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Anything for you? Any young roll?
Commissioner Tallarico? Aye. Commissioner Donahue?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosanna?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simone?
Yes.
Mayor Pearman?
Yes. Meeting adjourned.